Same parameters, widely different results. What if I told you that your favorite practice portals can misguide you when you're preparing for your PTE test? Hi guys, this is Rashid from Ace Language, and in today's video, we will look at the results from the real exam test, compare it with the official PTE mock test, and compare it with two of the most popular practice portals that students use to challenge us sometimes. They are Alpha and ApeUni. Stay tuned till the very end to see why these portals cannot be your ultimate answer to preparing for your PTE test. Stay tuned to the very end and the outcome may shock you. Students who are preparing for their PTE test, they sometimes trust these portals so much so that they tend to challenge seasoned trainers like us about their current scenario and score possibility based on the outcomes of these portals. That is why I decided, why don't I try them? In this controlled experiment, what I did was to first take the real exam and use the same parameters, that is, same strategies, same templates or structures, same ways of answering them, same approaches. Most importantly, the same equipment. I used Pearson's original headphone that Pearson used, Andrea Edu, and I took the test in the differences of several days, and the results are quite shocking. I will now break down what I actually did in the exam. In all four exams, I followed the same strategy for our read aloud. I never follow or suggest my students to follow one-line strategy. I read them naturally without any rush. I did not try to shout. I maintained a smooth rhythm, and most importantly, I maintained connected speech or continuous speech. I did not focus on speed, mind you, and I did not try to create any accent. I just maintained clarity. You may be thinking, because I'm a trainer and a very experienced one in that matter, I might not have fumbled at all. But hey, I may be a trainer, but I'm a human being. I fumbled in a few words, but obviously I tried to minimize them as much as possible. Next comes repeat sentence. In repeat sentence classes, I always suggest my students to try to repeat as much as possible. For those who struggle, I suggest them to focus on the first or the last half, which I did in my real exam. I got 11 repeat sentences. 6 of them I repeated first half and 5 of them I repeated second half. In the PT official mock test, I did the same thing. For both Alpha and ApeUni mock tests, I did the same thing. I maintained either the first half or second half when I was trying to answer, all the while maintaining my fluency and pronunciation. I tried to maintain a smooth rhythm, tried to have as less hesitation and fumble as possible, and I tried to make sure my pronunciations are clear. For both describe image and retell lecture, I did not follow any template. I followed flexible structures that we teach in the class. And for them, I also maintained that my contents are well organized. Like we practice in the class, following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 method, I tried to organize my thoughts for describe image and tried to answer them with good fluency and pronunciation. In terms of retell lecture, I tried to take notes of the keywords, but while I was answering, I tried to make sure that I create phrases based on those keywords, not simply just repeat the keywords disconnectedly. I ensured that I finish right on time, either right at 40 seconds or by 35 seconds. I also ensured that I did not just simply repeat some words, rather I tried to create relationship that we simply teach in our classes. I did not answer short question. In the writing section, I first did summarize written text following exactly what I teach in the class. You can also find that technique in our summarized written text video. Just click at the top. I did very well in my writing section. When I actually write essay, I followed the same structure that I teach in my classes. in the real exam, in PT official mock test, in Alpha and ApeUni mock tests as well. And you will see the differences of results in these sections. Now let's talk about reading module. In reading module, I did not answer multiple choice question, choose single answer, and multiple choice question, choose multiple answer. This is the same thing I teach in the class. So my suggestion is don't waste your time in these question types if you actually want to spend a good amount of time in fill in the blanks questions, those questions that really matter. I tried to spend about 3 minutes for each fill in the blanks reading and writing, and about 2.5 minutes for each fill in the blanks reading. And in order to be able to give enough time for fill in the blanks, not only did I not answer multiple choice questions, I also reduced number of minutes I spent for reorder paragraph. I answered my reorder paragraph within 1 to 1.5 minutes. When I was trying to do fill in the blanks, obviously some of them were very difficult, and I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes. At the end of the day, I'm just a human, and still I was able to score very high in real test and as well as in the official mock test. However, my score in reading was a bit low at Alpha and at ApeUni mock test. I believe that happened because of the way they score read aloud rather than my problems with fill in the blanks. When I was answering fill in the blanks, I did not really focus on grammar. Obviously, grammar was at the back of my head, but I really focused on finding the right answer by understanding the context. If you don't know how to answer by understanding the context, please watch this video. And when I was trying to answer a reorder paragraph question, the way I tried to maximize my time management or actually manage my time, I tried to find the introduction first, and then for all other pairs, I went sentence by sentence. Now that's the end of my reading module. Let's now talk about the last module of your PTE test. That is the listening module. You know, in listening module, there are 8 question types. And you also should know that 4 of the question types are important, whereas other 4 are not important. So what I did not answer multiple choice question, choose multiple answer, multiple choice question, choose single answer, highlight correct summary, and select missing words. What I did was I tried to, because I could not move on to the next question while I was listening to those questions, I listened to those questions, and as soon as the question finished, I clicked next. The reason is I wanted to have ample time at my hand for write from dictation. So the first question type that I actually answered properly in the listening module was summarize spoken text. In summarize spoken text, while I was taking note, I made sure I take notes of proper keywords, those I can actually convert to proper phrases. Then I followed the same structure that I teach at my classroom, and I used those notes to create meaningful sentences. I also ensured that I stay within the word limit, and I do not make grammatical or spelling errors, but I did make spelling errors, if you just so you know. And that was not intentional, by the way. That happened because I do make quite a bit of spelling errors. And followed by that, what I also did is to use at least one compound sentence to make sure that I get high score. The result was my listening and writing score are pretty amazing in the real exam and in the official mock test as well. But in ApeUni or Alpha, I did not get that much expected score. Next, I focused on fill in the blanks. And in fill in the blanks, as you know, the only thing that matters is good spelling. So I made sure I check at least twice before I submit. Then highlight incorrect word. In the real exam, I got 3 highlight incorrect words, and quite as a coincidence as well, I got 3 highlight incorrect words for real mock test or official mock test for Alpha and for ApeUni mock test as well. However, I found that ApeUni's recordings are a bit difficult, and in one of the mock tests at ApeUni, I could not get all the questions, all the words, incorrect words. And at the end, I tried to focus properly in write from dictation. During my real exam, I added extra words in write from dictation. And as you can see, my listening score is pretty good. So it did not impact on the listening score as well as in the writing score. I also added extra words for PTE official mock test, and it worked just fine. For Alpha and ApeUni, I did not add any extra word, and my score was okay, but I was expecting higher. But probably it went down because of the way they scored me for repeat sentence and retell lecture. I hope these brief strategies that I adopted was quite clear to you. What I will do in the next part of the video, I will go in details about those subjective question types like read aloud, describe image, retell lecture, summarize written text, essay, summarize spoken text to compare what really went on in the real exam and what happened in these practice portals. Now, before I jump into the scoring of each individual subjective modules, I would like to draw your attention to the screen and show you the scores that I received. In the real test, I received an overall 83, which if I compare to the official mock test, that is 84, is very comparable. On the other hand, in my alpha mock test, I got 71 and same at ApeUni, which is 71. If I go module by module, in listening, I received 81 in real test, official mock test that is 80. In at alpha, that's 71, and ApeUni is 70. You can see how the real test and the official mock test is quite comparable, and how alpha and ApeUni, being the third party portal, are quite similar or comparable. For reading, I got 85 in both real exam and official mock test. On the other hand, both alpha and ApeUni gave me 72 and 74 respectively. For speaking, I scored 90 in the real exam, which has not perfectly reflected in the official mock test, that is 75. But as you can see, again, my speaking score is quite comparable in both alpha and ApeUni, that is 62 and 59, which is obviously very, very poor. For writing, I got 82 at real test, and in the official mock test, that's 90, a perfect 90, whereas both ApeUni and Alpha gave me 80 and 82 and 80 respectively. So you can see the differences of number scoring as well as the similarities. Real exam and official mock test quite portray the score quite similarly, whereas ApeUni and Alpha also portray the score quite similarly, giving an indication that the same sort of algorithms are used in which kind of tests. Now let's look at this comparison between the read aloud scores of both ApeUni and Alpha. Here is my take in it. First of all, when it comes to read aloud scoring, ApeUni has a better content recognition engine compared to Alpha. However, both the portals use speed as the primary mechanism to score fluency. And as you can see, in both of the portals, my fluency score is very, very poor because I don't really speak fast, and I never suggest speaking fast. I rather would focus on maintaining a smooth rhythm. And even with 100% content match at ApeUni, my content score is only 67. Pronunciation score at Alpha fared better, despite that speech recognition engine performed poorly. Okay, so what's my take on it? My take is very simple. Do not follow their idiotic way of simply speaking fast. Focus on maintaining a smooth rhythm and maintaining a flat tone, and occasionally use stress based on the meaning of the sentence. If you do not know when to use stress, you can always ask a teacher. And another important thing is, folk never try to answer using one-line strategy. We did not find any evidence that that actually works in the real exam. So my suggestion again is to stick to the basic, speak with a smooth rhythm, do not rush, do not speak fast. and most importantly, maintain clarity. Now let's move on to repeat sentence. Just look at the screen. Now you will find one thing that happened here is I answered only half. You will see also in ApeUni it is saying few two words are repeated. Try to aim for at least 50%. Let me assure you I spoke more than 50%. And you can see in the Alpha's screenshot that I actually covered more than 50%, and the part I covered was pretty good. So I understand why I got less score in content, but I am puzzled why did I get less score for fluency and pronunciation. As you can see that at ApeUni I got 51 in pronunciation and 54 in fluency, and at Alpha that was 64 in fluency and 60 in pronunciation. So my suggestion to you is do not try to repeat everything if you cannot remember. Of course, that does not mean I'm suggesting you to answer half. I'm suggesting you to answer as much as possible with as much accuracy as possible. But in order to pursue perfection, do not fumble too much. I did fumble in a couple of times, of course. I'm a human being. But you can see my score in both speaking and listening in the real test is pretty high. I got 90 in speaking and 81 in listening. And in the official mock, I did get a bit low in speaking, which is 75, but my listening was solid 80. So yes, you can understand how my way works perfectly. Focus on the first or the last half. You will do well if you can maintain good fluency and good pronunciation. When it comes to describe image, if you look at the screen, both ApeUni and Alpha gave me a good score in content, which is right. I actually delivered a good content. I made sure I did not only use keywords, I used proper sentences. I did not use any stupid template. I used flexible structure based on the type of image, and I maintain good fluency and good pronunciation. However, as you can see, my speed wasn't that great, so my fluency score was poor in both ApeUni and Alpha, 63 and 60 respectively. My suggestion is again, don't worry about the fluency score, don't look at it. Just simply try to maintain a good content with good pronunciation, clear pronunciation. You will score well in describe image. For Retell Lecture, same thing I think happened, but I think in this case, ApeUni's content recognition team has done a very good job. My content at ApeUni and Alpha both were quite good and comparable. ApeUni did give me good score, a full score in content. Alpha did give me a poor score in content. And in both cases, I got a very poor score in pronunciation. I don't know why. And obviously, ApeUni focuses too much on this speed compared to Alpha. And you can see that what happens here. They're saying too many pauses, but let me assure you there wasn't too many pauses. And they're also saying speaking too slow, too fast. I wasn't speaking too slow, and obviously I do not have in continuous speech problem. So yeah, I will say that when you are preparing for Retell Lecture, use both of the portals for preparing to practice, but do not take their scoring too seriously. And for summarized written text, both of the engines did well, and they did pick up some silly mistakes, but don't worry about them. Follow the simple strategy of using first sentence and last sentence with multiple paragraphs, first sentence of each paragraph and last sentence of last paragraph. With essay, again, I will say both of the portals did a bit good, but content recognition at ApeUni was better. With Alpha, you can see the content score was a bit poor, but I actually like the stricter approach of Alpha. This will actually ask students or force students to write better content. My suggestion is follow any template or structure that you want to follow. I followed the structure that we teach in the class, and that works perfectly fine. As you can see in the real exam, I got quite a good score in writing. I got 82, and at the official mock test, I got 90 out of 90 in writing. So my suggestion to you for writing is follow any template that you want or structure that you want, Make sure you use proper keywords from the question, make a very meaningful topic from the keywords, and you repeat the topic in different places. And of course, maintain a perfect idea generation technique and generate at least 2 relevant ideas and give examples so that you can score high in your essay and in turns in your writing. And another question type that I would like to focus on is summarize a spoken text. It is the replication of Retell Lecture. So the same problem that happens in Retell Lecture in both the portals also happen in Summarize spoken text. You need to make sure that you take keywords in a way that you can actually make them proper phrases and use any structure to actually make them a proper meaningful sentence with at least one compound sentence in your writing. Make sure that you maintain the word limit. I'm not at all worried about the time limit of Summarize spoken text. You have plenty of time, and make sure you double check your. Okay, now the time has come to get the final verdict. Which one you should use? My opinion is you can use both of them when you are preparing, but be careful. Use them as a practicing tool. Get familiarized with different types of question, different types of difficulties of the question, and how you should answer, how you should approach, and all those things. Do not take their scoring mechanism too seriously, especially for those questions. Those are subjective, and more importantly, those subjective question types of speaking module. Do not focus on unnecessary things. No need to worry about unnecessary strategies like speaking too fast. Not to worry about, a continuous speech, following one-liner strategies, trying to answer a repeat sentence to the full and in the process fumble. No need to do those things. Or maybe try to use fancy words in the writing section, or try not to use any main ideas at all or any relevant ideas. Avoid those things. Prepare in the normal way. Make sure you practice accordingly, and most importantly, be connected with a teacher or a mentor. It may be an automated test, but preparation needs to be done by proper guideline with a mentor. With that note, if you find this video useful, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. If you want to get in touch with us for your PT preparation, you can text us at 018899 82912 in Bangladesh and 0456 446 963 in Australia. And you can email us at info@acept.com.au or visit our website at www.ace-pt.com. Thank you.